Hello, this is your captain speaking, and here we have the Deadly Venture Mark 1. This vehicle definitely has enough fuel to get us all the way to Minmas, because I have this Rocket Mech skipper which will lift up this slightly heavier stage here with a surface propulsion system and a slightly larger tank of fuel to make the gap between Minmas and Kerbal. And I'm going to take off here. You see here I have these Globe 5 SRBs. Before I take off, however, I am going to fast forward, so I have myself on a I have a nice little plane set up, because Minmas has a very eccentric orbit, and the moon doesn't have a very eccentric orbit, so you can just kind of line them up like this. At least that's what I do. And try and get Minmas to be at about a I don't know, 75-degree angle between the line you set up for the plane and the moon itself. Alright, the sun has risen and we're ready to take off from the launch pad. Oh shoot, I have Jebediah Kerman on this mission. Oh well, Edmore has done plenty of valiant missions in space, and I'm sure he's been exposed to quite a lot of solar radiation at the moment, so Jebediah, I will let him take the glory on this mission too. And 3, 2, 1, liftoff! There's very, very loud SRBs, I apologize for that, but, you know, can't make an omelet without breaking a few eardrums. Actually, you totally can. Breaking eardrums has absolutely nothing to do with making an omelet, unless you're just really bad at making an omelet, and, like, maybe you just shove, like, a spatula all the way in your ear. I don't see how you would do that, but I'm sure it's theoretically possible. Dump the SRBs. I added fairings on top of this rocket too. I don't have there is a mod that adds more aerodynamic properties to the game, which I do not have, but I'm considering installing. So the fairings don't do much except for make the vehicle look more reasonable as a launch vehicle, because when you have a a riding lawnmower sitting on top of a rocket, it just doesn't look appealing or realistic as a launch compared to this, with a nice little clean seamless fairing on top. It's not true, it does have seams. Seemingly has seams. So I noticed something. As I time accelerate, just physics accelerate, the fairing opens up slightly, and it kind of looks like a whale opening its mouth with this lighting. Or I can make it say stuff like, "Hey! We're going to space! Space!" Alright, well, I had fuel in a rocket max. I probably just burned a little bit more than I should have. 74,000 meters is okay. We're just outside of Kerbal's atmosphere, but I'd like to get us a little bit higher when we actually get into an orbit. I'm going to drop this stage right here and accelerate forward to reveal my service propulsion system. This thing will certainly get us to Minmas. I have a grand amount of fuel for it. I have almost 600 fuel. Should be perfectly fine. Now that I'm out of the atmosphere, I'm going to dump my fairings, and this is always great to watch. Just check this shit out right here. Bang! Exposure of the craft. Just beautiful. Okay, gonna time accelerate a little bit, bring myself up to my apoapse closer to, and since it's a bit low, I'm going to aim up a bit more, and then start my burn to try and get myself a nice, round, clean orbit. Alright, now I have myself a nice, safe parking orbit of 88,000 to 97,000, and I should be able to set up my maneuver node to fly over to Minmas. How much fuel do I have left? About half of this tank, which should be ample amount to get me there. But getting back is the real problem. Just kidding, it's actually really fucking easy to get back.
This is the part of the video where I play with maneuver notes forever.
Okay, that should be a fairing counter right there. It's a 41-second burn, which is barely anything. I'll be able to get there without even wasting the rest of this tank. Fantastic. Time accelerate to that point. If I can find the freaking maneuver note. There it is. And go. If you, it's kind of an exploit in the game, but if you time accelerate, it stops your rotation. As long as it's not like a physics accelerate. And it kind of feels a little bit cheaty, but it can be really convenient. So if you guys object to me using that at all, please go ahead and tell me. and I might consider not doing it, but I'm probably gonna do it because it saves my clam out of the fire a lot. I don't even have a clam, but wait a second. I just realized the innuendo behind that. Oops, my bad. Sorry, people who are watching who would be concerned about me having a clam. Ooh, I need to stop talking about this clam. Alright, I'm going to start my burn right here. On the dark side of the planet, I'm about to be greeted by sunlight as I accelerate forth towards Minmas.
Hey, Future David here. I'm not sure what I was talking about with all that clam stuff, so, people who know me, parents and siblings and stuff, just kind of ignore that.
Here we have our encounter with Minmas. Now to time accelerate and get real close to it. Da 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 da. Let's get a nice little view of the planet Kerbal here and the moon way in the background. As we move away from it, it sinks into the abyss of space. That tiny little hunk of rock in the distance that you see right there, I do believe that's Minmas. Is it? Does it set us a target right now? I don't know. Hold on. Should be. Set us target. Yeah, that little speck in the distance of space right over there, that just happens to be the place we're traveling towards. So that gives you an idea of how tiny it is. Considering we're this far away from the moon and Kerbal, we're about halfway there, and it's just a tiny little speck. We can see the moon and Kerbal just fine, but then you see Minmas all the way out there. I lost it. Where'd it go? See, it's just so small. Okay, I'm gonna move towards it more now. We're moving into our encounter with Minmas. We're traveling against its orbit, but that's fine. And there we see the tiny little snowball that is Minmas. It's actually a really, really nice moon. It looks really nice. It's got these little, I guess, salt flats on them, or just flats. I guess they're ice, like water ice. Let's slow myself down here. I've got plenty of fuel to spare, which is awesome. I might be able to land with this fuel tank, because it really doesn't take that much to land on this, because the gravity is so low here. Whew. So since I'm moving against the orbit, it's doing some really ejecty things with it, but I should be able to manage with that just fine. I'm going to do some science right here while I can. So crew report offers me 20 science high over Minmas. How much battery charge do I have? Plenty. I think they reduced the amount of battery charge like reports take too, which is good because it does take kind of a lot. I'm gonna transmit that report. I don't want to burn down all my electric charge here. Ooh, I completed a contract objective. Transmit or recover scientific data from around Minmas. Let's bring myself down. Let's land on the snowbally, minty-looking moon. It's got a little green tinge to it. It's like a shamrock shake. Ah, man, shamrock shakes are freaking delicious. Okay. I'm not sponsored by McDonald's. Although I could be. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm going to try and land myself on that flat and see if I can't get myself turned around here, which, since it's so easy to travel here, I don't see why not. Still have a plethora of, that's not the right context of the word. I still have quite a lot of fuel to work with here. So I'm going to land myself in these, I think this is the Greater Flats of Minmas. That's what the biome is called. I'll land myself on that right there. As I'm coming down kind of fast towards the planet, I'm gonna get out and do these ones where you're falling towards a planet or a moon which has no atmosphere. You can do these EVA reports, and always kind of daunting because you can see yourself moving towards the surface and you're worried you're just gonna fly off and die, but nothing to worry about. There's no atmosphere to blow you off. Whoa! I needed to word that better. Whoops. Okay. Gonna get myself turned around so I can slow my descent so I don't come hurtling into the surface like an idiot. I'm 8,000 meters up now. I'm gonna do a crew report. Lake beds seem relatively flat. Perhaps we could land there. Good job, gang. You knew exactly where I was going to be landing. I don't want to run myself out of electric charge too much, but I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that for now. So those lake beds are about zeroed out. Well, in altitude, because I think they're the water level of the planet. So I'm gonna start slowing my descent at about 2,000 meters. Hopefully that should give me enough time to fully slow my descent. 2,500 should be good, just for safety. Although I do have plenty of fuel left over to slow myself down. Yeah, I'll be fine. That was half my descent, and that was a very small burn. So I'm just gonna wait until I see my shadow, which is actually right there on the ground. That was quick. Once I reach 1,000 meters, I'm gonna start slowing my descent again and bring myself in for a nice, smooth, comfortable landing on the lake beds of Minmas. Here we go. And now I have a nice centered retrograde indicator, which means I'm just gonna land, plop on the surface with this large ass booster. You don't really need landing legs here, because you just yeah, you don't really need landing legs here because it just the landings are so light that you can kind of hit the ground going, I don't know, anywhere to 10 meters per second and not really do any damage to your vehicle because you're falling so slowly. Or at least the pull of the body is so slow. Here we come at about 6 meters per second. You see my shadow touching down right there. Slow myself down before the final descent. Oops, a little bit too much. See, that tiny little burn pushed me going back up, so that now I'm moving slightly sideways. I want to fix that real quick. And final descent. Burn off a little bit more velocity. And a nice, safe, cushy, successful landing. Alright, now that we've landed safely on Minmas, it's time to just dump as much science as I can here. No, dang, 125 science from that? I'm gonna have to pick that up and gonna do an EVA report. Actually, I'm gonna get back in and do this mystery goo container first. Then I'll get out and do an EVA report. I'm gonna plant a flag. My first mission flag since I started this campaign. I don't like to plant flags on Kerbal because it just kind of mucks up the environment, kind of makes it harder to navigate around map mode. So I've completed some parameters. Land on Minmas complete. That gives me 28,000 Kerb dollars or Kerb credits, Kerbits. I'm going to plant a flag right here in commemoration of another successful mission. My first successful landing on another world, sponsored by Probodobadine. Try our Probodoba bars. They're not a real product, I just made that up. The Probodobadine landing zone. Here, Jebediah Kerman. Sponsors: new Probodobadine bars, now in fruit and nut flavors. Oh, also he does a bunch of science and stuff. Perfect. Beautiful. They should have sent a poet, but they sent me, so that's the best they're going to get. The Probodobadine flag has been planted on the surface. I'm going to do a surface sample report. The surface seems to consist of a crystal-like grains. Probably not edible. Probably not a good idea to eat something you found on the ground, especially not on another planet. I don't think the 5-second rules applies in space. Although there are no germs in space, but moon dust in real life is very dangerous to inhale because it's like little tiny shards of glass, and they will cut your lungs up. You feel a bit like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Oh yes, the gravity is super low here, so just me taking a step sends me propelled from the ground a little bit here, but I just jump up and bang! I am like a superhero. I can activate the jetpack, I can fly around, have a little bit of fun here. There'll be plenty of time to explore Minmas later, but for now I better return to Kerbin, because Jebediah is feeling a little bit homesick. Maybe he's missing his Kerb wife, Gemini. That sounds like a stripper name. Hi, my name is Gemini Ruby. Just collect the data. Did I get the data? Collect... Fuck. The gravity's so low here, it's actually making it really difficult for me to collect this freaking data from my gosh darn... There we go. Collect data. I'm gonna float on back into my ship here. Boosh. I'm going to pop this stack decoupler. Well, actually, I'm going to tilt myself to an angle so it doesn't land on top of me. Pop it. I'm going to time excel and watch it crash into the surface. Yeah. Crash, crash, crash. Oh. It landed quite gently. That was kind of disappointing. Well, I better get out of here. Oops. I just wasted a bit of fuel by leaving that there, but oh well, it's evidence, more evidence left behind to prove that Jebediah Kerman had a glorious adventure traveling to Minmas, but now he must return back to Kerbin with this last little stage here, which hopefully has enough fuel to get us home, which it probably should. Might have wanted to test that first, but testing is for the weak, Jebediah says. Doing is what we do. I've already got myself a nice close encounter with Kerbin. I just gotta get my periapsis down to, I don't know, lower than last time so I don't end up bouncing off the atmosphere like I did. That was annoying. Just gonna time excel until I'm at apoapse. And then I'm gonna burn more towards Kerbin on my retrograde vector. And bring myself nice and close down to Kerbin. For another happy, safe landing. There we go, 22,000 meters should do it. Alright, here we are, coming in for a landing with Kerbin.
You guys can't see anything because I made the bad decision to land us on the night side of the planet. Da 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 da.
Gonna do a little last second burn to slow my descent a little bit so I can try and save this engine. Which I did, successfully. Another happy landing for Jebediah Kerman, one of the most skilled pilots of all of the Kerbal Space Association. Gonna recover this vessel. And as you can see, we collected a metric ton of science here. And as you can see, we recovered a profound buttload of science here, which I will use in the next mission as I send a lander to land on the moon. Thank you for watching. This is your captain signing off. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video and like to see more. Thank you for joining with me with my first successful landing on another world. Bye.